Weekly vlog is starting, and for this week's objective, I just really want to read. I want to read, get the reading out the way. So first things first, finish 2 books. Again, this is gonna say the same. Weekly vlog, Playbook 2.0 completed. I've still yet to not complete it. It's Monday. The market's open, as you can see here. We are looking to take a trade long, but we're not getting anything. Monthly objectives, 10 books completed, trading book completed, and the weekly vlogs completed. I wanted to talk to you guys about what I've been doing this weekend. This weekend I edited the vlog. I'm also just been watching a lot of videos on how to make filming, you know, like how to be the main character in your film, do better lighting, what to do, like layers of how to make a better film, you know, color grading, composition, your lenses, all these important things, the shot footage, all these things are very, very crucial whenever it comes to making a video. But again, the video, the notes, the writing, all that is the most important thing, you know. You can have the best film, you can have everything again, but the way you make the video, the story behind it, you know, all those important things come into consideration as the foundation, the base that makes the best video. All right guys, so today we hit a break-even trade. I'm gonna show you guys that. And again, contradicting biases, this is why it's so important, bro, to like know when to go break even, when not. And here is the trade idea right here. Let me show you guys that real quick. So we took a long off of this right there, that inversion fairly up on the 1 minute time frame. You can see we're up 67 bucks, and yeah, we had a 15-minute CRT. Let me show you guys that. I don't know if this is gonna show. Nah, it's not gonna show. But the candle here closed down and then eventually came back up. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we had a 30-minute EVP form, a bearish one here. So the market came back up, came back down, closed below, market swept that high, and then this candle opened up, pushed up higher, and then eventually you can see the market is pushing down lower with speed. This one was the weakest one, and there was SMT at the highs. It was clear SMT at the highs. And that is basically really it for me today. I'm not really going to try to trade. And again, I've been watching a lot of videos on filming basically, and just trying to get better at film production and making videos. You know, I'm working on the lighting, working on a lot of different things. In the next couple of videos, I really want to make like a movie. I want to make trading videos. I want to make my videos like a movie, bro. I want to have them like, I just want to watch something that I enjoy. Tripod came in. Time to make some good videos. We need some good stories, some good narration. I want to be a filmer and a trader. Let's do both. Why not do both? That's the goal for this week's objective, is to what? Right here actually. 2 books, weekly vlog, and then Playbook 2.0 completed. That's what we're gonna be aiming for this week. That's done, done, done. I also journaled this week's trade already. Today's trade, we're only up around 68 bucks.
¿Quieres limón? Ándale.
Alright, this is what I'm working on. As you can see here, what we're working on, the playbook. Right now I'm just working on the playbook. That's basically really it. You know, I'm doing a video where I just record myself basically changing my journal, and you're gonna see that real soon, but maybe not. Maybe after next month you're gonna see it. You're gonna see like what changes I made, this and that for the journal, the playbook, all this and that. I'm not gonna upload it here because again, it's for that video, but last vlog did get copyrighted because of Liverpool and Real Madrid. I was playing the game, or I was watching the game I should say, and my top monitor up here, and I had my Notion or my trades and like my Notion right here, what I was looking at, and I was about to take a trade, and boom, next thing, no, I was back testing, that's what it was, and then boom, you know, I showed a little snippet, bro, of Courtois, you know, saving some, you know, header from Van Dijk, and boom, copyrighted. Again, guys, for this journey, I want to talk about, as of recently, I haven't really been trying to rush my trading at all. I've been very patient with my model, my playbook, and again, mechanical versus discretion. Once I've combined both, I realized that majority of my trades are the best whenever I'm just like in that zone, in that flow state. And you get to that flow state once you understand what you're looking for, and you have certain procedures, and you understand which model you enjoy using, like which one you find the most high confluence with, you know. Again, I was having those negative emotions, those negative thoughts of doubt, fear, uncertainty, but that's only just 1 month of using that strategy and like learning those concepts. And I was just trying to rush the process, you know. I was trying to get there sooner than I should have, and that caused me to go on tilt, you know, to go on tilt one day and blow all the progress that I've made. And then before that, I was taking really good trades, you know, but I just wasn't able to accept the risk. I was putting on way too much risk, and I just wasn't able to combat the uncertainty. And then eventually another thing too was just I didn't have enough familiar, like what's the word? I didn't have enough experience basically using those concepts and those models. And as of recently, I've been collecting more data, getting more experience, and I just feel more in tune with what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You know, building the playbook, we finished, you know, 1/3 of it. I feel very confident, you know, in what I'm looking for and how it works. But also just the live trades, you know, we also have data collection on the live trades, and we know what works, what doesn't work in the live markets, you know. Not really trying to rush the process anymore, you know. I feel like the more you try to rush something, the less likely you are to get there, and the less you think about it, and like the less you put so much like what's the word, so much attachment to it, the less likely you are to like receive it, you know. All right, so we're almost done with the playbook. Finished live trades. We still got the hindsight and then the back tested. Probably gonna finish that later. We still have yet to read. So this one's not gonna be done anytime this week right now. This one maybe. This one is probably gonna be completed first, and then this one, and then that one. So it's currently Tuesday. We still got time. We need to finish this. We need to finish that objective. All right, guys, so I wanted to have that conversation, you know, about short-term mindset and long-term mindset in a recent situation. Basically, I was hanging out with a female, you know. This female wasn't my girlfriend. She wasn't someone that I could genuinely see myself having a long-term relationship with or a future. That short-term mindset of me thinking if I just get with her, every single problem, every single issue, you know, would go away. And I didn't tell nobody about this, you know. I didn't tell anybody I was hanging out with her. That's how I wouldn't say I was ashamed. I would say I just wasn't willing to put myself out there in that situation where everybody would know. But I'm telling you guys because this reflects to my trading also, you know, because if you always have that short-term mindset, bro, thinking like, oh, if I take this type of trade and I win and I'm able to pass an account, you know, then I'll be able to be profitable, then I'll be able to get payouts. But no, it's a long-term mindset. You know, if you take this trade with good risk and you continue taking those type of setups with good risk, over the long run, how successful will you be? How many payouts can you achieve? It's never about the short-term mindset. So that's one thing I'm trying to work on right now. So I try to use that in my trading a lot more, you know, like if having that short-term mindset, thinking that every problem is going to solve itself only if you take this type of setup, or if you do this one type of task, every issue you have is going to go away. But it's not like that in life, bro. There's going to be more problems. There's going to be a lot of different, you know, a lot of different things you got to solve in life. And you just got to get used to that feeling of just solving issues, bro. Going through that process, that dreary process of being stressed out, having those late nights thinking of things that, you know, you have to get done and you have no solution, none of that, you know. Instead of thinking of a short-term mindset, thinking of, oh, if I just do this one type of thing, everything's gonna solve itself and I'm gonna be this type of person, or I'm gonna have these type of results. And it's not like that in life, bro. Again, I wasn't really proud of myself after. Again, it wasn't really, again, I'm not really trying to bash myself. I'm not trying to beat myself up for doing that thing or hanging out with that type of girl, or, you know, having that type of mindset. I just ask God for forgiveness, and I don't try to label my emotions, you know, or my experiences. That's another thing, you know. You can't label certain experiences as good or bad, because at the end of the day, you wouldn't label a bad trade a bad trade, right? No, it's a learning experience. Same thing with certain experiences you experience in life. They're not bad experiences, they're learning experiences, and you learn and you grow as an individual and you become a better person, bro. What do you gotta say to the camera about today's trade? Today is what? Wednesday. That's right. That's right, guys. Today is Wednesday, and I only took one trade. It was a break even. You hear that little background music, huh? You see that? It's my charts, my setup. I was thinking about trimming the clip out, but I was just giving too much free sauce in that video. So if you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, let me show you guys the trade for today. Only took one trade. I was planning on taking another trade on this one, but I was unable to, as I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Let me pause the music before I get copyrighted again. But yeah, we took one long here off of a 30-second inversion for value gap on ES, and that was basically the trade idea. So this right here, something like this, waited for that to get inverse, came back down, retraced, we entered, and then eventually the market went back up. We tried the stop loss to break even above these highs because we were inside of a higher time frame SIBI, and we were about to hit a 15-minute for value gap. So market came back down, pushed up higher, came back down, pushed up, and then came back down even further. But this was the trade of the day right here. I was looking at this right here, this inversion fair value gap right there, but I didn't take it. I did not take it. So right here would have been the trade of the day right there. That one right here. As soon as it closed, this one opens up. That would have been the trade of the day. Stop loss probably at these highs or rejection blocks. But the thing was, like, the risk reward and the drawn liquidity was so small. You see that? It was only like 4 points, 3 points. But then it ran to a quick 2R, you know. M pushed up higher. ES was pushing down lower. NQ was pushing down lower. You know, forming SMT at these lows. You know, it's all over the place right now. I won't lie, it's all over the place. I just really can't see myself taking a trade right now. But this would have been the trade of the day. As soon as we formed this inversion, market would pushed up higher, fell to this place. And then what was it on the 5 minute? 5 minute time frame. We had a 5 minute SIBI here. We were unable to break above. So then the 1 minute formed a inversion fair value gap, and that's kind of the confluence here that gave this trade idea to the fruition. But I just didn't like how this low was so freaking close to the drawn liquidity. Maybe after we met it break even, and then eventually let in the winner run, and it would have ran. Alright, so we're still doing the playbook, and we're on a Pomodoro, but I'm about to go to the gym, and once I come back, I'm gonna try to finish this real quick and then eat and then walk my dog. Now we just need to finish the playbook and then reading, I guess. Reading and just trying to learn how to edit the weekly vlogs. No more studying, I guess, like trading content until probably next year. Probably next year I'll probably start to dabble into like more order flow concepts and then ICT also, you know. I feel like we got everything down, but of course there's still more to learn, so I want to gain more data, more experience using what I know, and then build upon that later on whenever I feel like I plateau, and go back to the drawing board. But right now I need to master these concepts first. Alright, so today was a break-even day, no trades. What do I plan on doing now is finishing the playbook. Right now I'm about to go to the gym, finish the playbook, and then come home, walk my dog, and start reading. That's gonna be the day of the life of a trader. Then tomorrow we gotta go to work. But one thing I've really been fiending to do is clean my environment, clean my room. So we might do that today. Probably
Christmas
clean my car.
And everything. And with the Houston Ballet Nutcracker Mark.
I want to clean my car Friday, so inside and out. Doesn't look the best, I won't lie. Yeah, just cleaning my environment, clean myself. You know, I feel like you are your environment, so cleaning my environment, making it look really nice. I've been trying to get better with the video, so maybe next week we can start video editing a lot better. Learning how to use DaVinci, and also just not learning how to use DaVinci, but also how to film. So I bought 3 batteries for my camera here. We got 3 extra batteries, and we got another SSD card. The other SSD card is for the other videos I plan on making, the one we're currently making right now. And yeah, that's really it. Alright guys, so I just finished reviewing, taking notes, data collection on the playbook. So now it's time to review the trading notes, and that's currently what I'm about to do and read. We're about to start reading a lot more tomorrow, probably all day. All I'm gonna do is read before I go to work. But if we do take a trade, journal it, put it to the Notion or the trading journal, and then again, the objective is to finish those 2 books. That's the main objective. So the rest of the week, just reading and reviewing the notes. And yeah, we basically finished one of our objectives for this month, which was to basically have the trading playbook and data collection complete. So that is now complete. We can mark it off here. Join me with the marking it off. So we're just gonna boom. Ow, kind of hit my stuff a little bit. Just boom, right there. Data collection and playbook is now complete. So the weekly vlogs, we need to have that completed. Same thing with the 10 books. So we have 1, 2. We're gonna have so many to read right there. So this is gonna be a little bit more of a struggle because I wouldn't say I don't enjoy reading, but it's more time consuming than this right here, because that just goes by so quick, you know, like you actually enjoy the process doing this and that. But once you get into that flow state of reading, everything becomes a lot more smooth. You know, you enjoy it, you have fun, you learn, you start like really developing mental models and like other things in reading versus like trading, you know. Meditating more, learning more, reviewing more, ingraining the knowledge into our mind. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Alright, so I took 2 trades, 1 YM long and then 1 NQ short. Both were break even. Don't want to be moving stops to break even too soon. but they both would have lost either way, so kind of glad. And with my model, I just want to see strong displacement and speed. I don't want to see us, you know, like come back near my entry, you know, retrace, stay in there. I don't want to see that. I want to see strong speed. I'm willing to take these break evens because when they do move, you know, once we do catch, basically, you know, like get it, you know. But my main dilemma back then when I was trading like this, I just would have moved stops to break even. I wouldn't let the trade run, but I feel like I have good reasoning for moving these stops to break even, but I just don't want to let it affect us when we're trading. Yeah, let's go over the trade. So this was the first trade, imminent Q right here. As you can see, the executions, we entered short off of this 1 minute inversion once we had a 5 minute retrace, and then the market came down, and then it went all the way back up higher. Here, what was wrong with this trade? No SMT, first and foremost. Again, the reason why we like moving stops to break even so soon is because I like seeing strong displacement. I like having SMTs, I like having internal sweeps, I like having inverses. I don't like seeing the market retrace. If we do retrace, usually that's where I enter to then eventually have that flush. I like trading divergences basically. I like seeing internal sweeps, you know, your CRTs, candle range high, candle range lows, EBPs, advanced EBPs. And I like having those higher time frame confluences basically. And then if we go to YM right here, here was the trade on YM. We took a long off of a 2 minutes inversion and we scaled. We entered some right here, entered some after the close, and we scaled, and that was basically the trade idea, really, you know. It was like around here, right there. And yeah, that was basically the trade idea. We had a breaker, internal sweep, standard deviations. We wanted to see the break-even target get met, but then we had SMT at those highs, and that's kind of where the market instantly started to flush. We were just on the wrong side here. Thing was, we had a daily BSC, so we had bullish order flow on the higher time frame, but the lower time frame was clearly telling us bearish, bearish, bearish. Especially on NQ and ES, and YM was just doing its own thing. It was ranging. So, but then once they started to correlate, formed SMT at the highs, and then the market started to flush. You see what pushed down lower, respect to the 5 minute slash 15 minute CB, pushed down lower, formed an inversion. I thought this was going to be the small retracement to then eventually push down lower, sweep these lows, continue, and then eventually reverse higher, but it never happened. Disrespected this, pushed up, reached these highs, or we didn't reach the highs, but we reached an internal high, formed SMT with YM, and then the market started to move down lower. More of a difficult day, I won't lie. It was one of those days where if you didn't catch those shorts off of like a 3 minute inverse or a 5 minute inverse, pretty much screwed, I won't lie. So yeah, we didn't really have much here. We had a 5 minute CB, got disrespected. I know a lot of people were probably taking these longs, you know, they thought, you know, this was the Judah swing. They thought, you know, all this right here was your Judah swing, you know, and we were just gonna push up higher, and then eventually we failed, we came back down. So it's crucial. Again, waiting for SMT. Usually I notice majority of my best trades, reviewing the playbook, we have 2 SMTs, one on the higher time frame, one on the lower time frame, and then we have another confluence, but I can't give you guys everything here. No trade today. Tape reading, but I have to go to work at 12. Look what I'm watching. Dun, dun, dun. See you later. See you later. Should I take the glasses to work, chat? Should I? Nah, we can't do that, right? Not today, huh? We just gotta... But it feels so weird not having these glasses on. That's my little dilemma right now. I got a little trim on top. I don't know if y'all can y'all see it? But break even this week has been all break even, bro. That has been really unfortunate, but I'm gonna take it. We need to review more now. We need to review and analyze. Usually whenever I'm hot, I get really cold, and then whenever I'm really cold, I get hot, you know, after. But after like the session's done and I like start journaling, the trades I take, or like I do the tape reading session, like the hindsight trade I could have took, the best trade, bro, I realized so much after. I'm like, damn, bro, this was right here, right in front of me, you know? But I'm over here paying attention to this when in reality we had this, you know, like earlier, we had a higher time from SMT on the 4-hour on ES and NQ, but I didn't like pay no mind to it. I saw it, but I really didn't worry about it because I was like, oh, the daily's bullish, you know, we're gonna probably run through that. That thing held and we flushed. We probably could have looked for shorts and looked for a lower time frame, bearish SMT, because we had a higher time frame, bearish SMT. Day's over, gotta move on, live in the present moment, learn, live, learn. So yeah, review the trades. I'll put that in there anyways. So yeah, put that little analysis there. I've noticed one crucial lesson in my life, and that's when you keep your mouth shut, your life changes, bro. Everybody, you know, the yappers, people that just yap, how successful are they? You know, usually the most successful people are the ones that are the quietest. They're the quiet people in the room. You know, they don't taunt, they don't flex. They let the wealth and their actions speak for themselves. And that's something I'm really trying to focus on right now, even outside of trading and just in life in general. Just being quiet, being to myself, and just letting my actions speak for me. Scenery. Look at the scenery. One crucial thing that I've noticed from most successful people is they keep their mouth shut, bro, and they just do the task, even if it's grueling and boring and not fun. They just do it, bro, and they just put their head down and they work and they keep quiet. You know, they're to themselves. They don't tell people, you know, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And that's one thing I really just plan on doing for the rest of this vlog / series. Be quiet, be to myself, just tell you guys what I'm doing, my actions, and then the goals. I will have the objectives, but not the goals, and I just aim to complete them every single day, and that'll be it, bro. And even outside of work, you know, I mean, even at work, you know, keeping to myself, keeping quiet. You know, I feel like I've been telling people a little bit too much about trading, you know, and what I'm trying to do. And it gets very hard too, you know, even with family, when you're trying to tell them what you're trying to do, you know, because they're gonna try to, you know, not bash you, but they're gonna try to make it seem in a way that it's impossible to do what you're trying to do. And I just don't want to have that type of energy around me. I want to be surrounded with good positive energy and uplifting, and just not really feeding my ego, but giving me confidence and instilling discipline. So I got the food right here. We're just jamming out. Look at the whip. Look at this right here. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Look at that, we're just driving. Sunset, it's beautiful. That probably looks so fucking weird. Yeah, I think I look better without the glasses or with the glasses. You think I look better with the glasses or without it? Teeth look dirty. They don't really look that bad, do they? Nah. I'm back, baby. I'm back. But just got done drinking this right here. Not good, you know. It's not good for you guys. Don't drink that, all right? Especially first thing in the morning. Don't be drinking that. But today we did take a trade. I did catch a W. W's in the chat, all right? 179. Here was the trade. I did cut a lot of it. I won't lie. If we just let the trade run, we would have been banking. We would have been banking today, baby. All right, baby. We took a partial here. I thought I was gonna get, you know, break even, so I took a partial right there, and then I took another one above this high right here, which isn't ideal. I mean, truly honest. Which high, you may be asking? It was above this high. Let me find my mouse. Hold on. Above this high right here, and then we let the position run. We moved the stop loss to break even. We moved the stop loss below this inversion, probably got below, and then eventually you can see the market came back down, pushed up higher, and then eventually it just started to ran all the way past my target, which was around 1300. I was up 200 around this moment, so I was like, all right, let's just aim for another 1300 to bank today and hit the 50% consistency target. But yeah, I guess I was just too emotional. These two right here should have never been taking place right here, taking these partials. Just let the trade run. If we let the trade run off the rip, we would have probably hit our profit objective around here. My profit objective originally was like 1,000, but I kept pushing it up and up and being greedy, and then eventually leaving the stop loss break even here with this type of, you know, movement, strong movement, market probably wouldn't have to retrace. This is even on like the 15 second or the 5 second, bro. Look at the 5 second. This thing looks crazy. The 1 minute just, yeah, that was really it. You know, if we let the we just trailed the stop loss below the lows, market would have never came in. Maybe not really though. Really it. I'm going to journal this trade, going back to watch ICT. I did take some notes whenever I was watching ICT because it's crucial. One of the most important thing is need to work on finding the draw liquidity and building narrative behind our bias and trading context. So the thing about the mechanical approach was I was getting way too tunnel visioned, confluences, and like not being able to like understand the draw liquidity and understand the market context / narrative. I was super focused on pattern trading and just trying to catch the correct patterns. Even though pattern trading is good sometimes because it builds that pattern recognition of what you need to see in order for it to be high quality, doesn't mean that the market context and the market understanding is always going to, you know, give you that. So you have to understand the market context through discretion and just like understanding, you know, like is it trending, is it ranging, is it counter trend, increased volatility, you know, like are we probably going to retrace, like what's the daily range we're in, what's the implied daily range, all these other important factors, you know, that come into consideration. Because again, the narrative, sometimes you can just see we just instantly jumped up, we never came back down. People that are waiting for a retracement or a close on the IPG on the 2 minute never got their entry, or the entry was all the way above and they probably didn't enter and they were like, damn. So yeah, it's very, very important to understand your draw on liquidity, understand where the market is going. Where was the market going for that high on the market maker buy model here? And then eventually using more of the consequent encroachment with the wicks and the volume imbalances and cutting through candles. So this is crucial. I haven't really been using new week opening gaps, volume imbalances, or anything like that. I kind of view them the same, I won't lie, new week opening gaps and volume imbalances. Even though they're not really the same thing, but I kind of do. I do have one on my SMT charts. Well, I have all the new week opening gaps and new day opening gaps on the SMT chart because SMTs do form around those areas, and it's crucial whenever they do because those are gaps. Cutting through candles with volume imbalances and using them on the higher time frame and just trying to understand the narrative and consequent encroachment of wicks. So on the daily, on the weekly, using those consequent encroachment of those wicks. Those are crucial because the market gravitates towards those levels. Those levels are crucial, bro. And then eventually cutting through candles with volume imbalances more with the delivery of sell side and buy side being offered. I haven't really been using that today. We even got a prime example. The market went up above that IPG and then came back down, stopped us out. So what buy side was delivered, sell side was delivered, and then we pushed all the way back up. Then another form of buy side or another set of buy side because again we offered both sides. Now the market is just pushing all the way up. So cutting through candles, understanding how it's being delivered, just like building our understanding of market. I'm not really taking notes, but this is my notes right here, my journal. So whenever I watch this back, hopefully you are doing that. Again, taking it easy, taking it slow. I'm not really trying to pass the account like in 2 days. I see everybody, this is another thing too, like on social media, you will see people pass funded accounts like in 1 day or 2 days. And you would think to yourself like, damn, maybe I can do that. Or damn, he's getting funded, he's about to get a payout, blah, blah, blah. But you have to understand like there's certain mental barriers if you've never passed an account, or certain barriers that are going to hold you back from getting that, and you just can't compare yourself to other people online. You have to like willing to be submitting to the process and understanding that it's a process, it's going to take time. And then once it does, the compound effect and like the snowballing will come into consideration, and you will see the results like them, over time. I guess they just been doing it for a little bit longer. They just have a different approach. Everybody's in different situations, but again, take your time. I think if you take your time, you're patient, you're able to build consistency and discipline. So then eventually, once you do get to those points, your wiring of your mental is like unstoppable. It's consistent. All right, guys, so my day is done trading. We're up 800. Today's Friday. I'm probably going to end this vlog here since I need to edit and I need to do all this and that. But what I'm gonna be doing, probably just filming me reading, I guess, because I'm about to read. I'm about to meditate, read, finish journaling, reviewing the journal and the playbook, and then probably going to the gym because it's pretty early. It's still barely 9:47, so I might as well just get the other stuff out the way. Today's trade was beautiful. I journaled it right here, but let me show you guys what the aftermath was. You can see that little yellow dot. That's where I got out, and you can see the market is just jumping, bro. I caught like 1/4 of the move, bro. 1/4 of the move. And this is why it's so important to use average daily ranges. Use the ADRs, bro. You're able to understand where the market really wants to go and like how much volume you have. Today, when the market opened, we were around like the 1/3 average daily range already. I just told myself like, damn, this shit is going to, move. If we move, yeah, you can see we're way below the average daily range. We're about to like reach the black line, which is the 5-day average daily range. Now we're back into the range. We're reaching for the 1/3 upside average daily range. So yeah, maybe this is a big move today, big move. All right, so I want to talk about why I'm seeing consistency now. Or why am I making more progress in a combine than I ever have before, you know? And I know a lot of people be like, oh, don't waste time on combines, don't do this and that. And I completely agree, but if you've never passed a combine, if you've never proven to yourself that you can actually do this, then take it slow, you know? Aim for that in the back of your mind, that you know you can do this. Aim for the reassurance that you're seeking, you know? Because then eventually, once I view combines like a practice, you know, like pretend you're practicing for the game, and then when the game comes around and you've proven to yourself in practice that you can do this certain play, or you can have this certain skill, you can use it in the game. You know you can do it. You know you can win the game, or you know you can become better every single day when it comes to playing in the games if you continue to practice with that, you know. And that's how I view combines. I view combines in the way of practicing. You know, if we're able to prove it to ourselves in a combine, we can be able to prove it to ourselves once we get funded. You know, it's very easy. You know, I've met a 3K profit objective. I've had winning days. I know I can do the same thing on a funded account. I can aim for that payout now. It doesn't have to be 3K. It can be 2K. It can be 1K. But I know I can do it. I know if I take those trades that I was taking on a combine, those A+ setups, I'm able to do it, bro. Once you do that, and once you like get rid of that mental barrier that you have in the back of your mind of the uncertainty and the thought process of, oh, I've never done this before, or is this really possible? You're able to break free from those limitations and those self-limiting beliefs, and you're able to just continue to grow and elevate. And that's the stage I'm at right now. And the reason why I've gotten this far is simply because I'm aiming for consistency, aiming for the best trades. And when I take a trade that isn't one of the best trades, I just simply understand my management has to be better. I have to be willing to move my stops to break even. I'm gonna have to be willing to not hit the trade for such a big trade. Aim for consistency, bro. Simple, sweet, concise. All right, so I just got back from the gym, but let me read you guys my notes before I end this vlog here. These are my last set of notes before I have my departure this week, and you'll see me next week, all right? And number one, fearing God, nothing else. Today, I was afraid of losing. I was afraid of losing all the progress that I've made on the account, the combine, and just losing a trade. But, you know, like DeAndre Hopkins said, I fear God, boy. I fear God, boy. Just fear God, man, nothing else. Can't be fearing these candles on a chart, on a screen, bro. Like, to fear God, nothing else, bro. Being the best version of myself, not just for this challenge, but for my future wife and my children. I thought about the future, you know. If I had a wife right now, would she be proud of me? If I had children right now, would they be proud of me, you know? Am I the ideal person for my wife and my children here? But the answer was no, you know. I could be better. I could be a lot better of a person. So number three is creating that vision board and seeing the future in the present moment to remind ourselves of what income we're aiming for, or outcome we're aiming for. Vision board, you know, like having the play button, reminding myself every day, the play button, bro. I want that silver play button, 100K subs. You know, I'm aiming for that. I feel like I know I can achieve it, but it just takes a lot of hard work. Same thing with trading, you know, reaching that 7-figure payout, reaching for those certificates, you know. I can do it, bro. It just patience, consistency, and discipline. Number 4 is quality of work rather than the quantity. Focus deeply on it. Your quality is more important than your quantity, bro. Same thing with your trades. I'd rather have 3 good trades for the whole month instead of 30 trades, and we still have the same P&L, same work. Same thing with the videos. I'd rather have 2 good videos per week than 7 videos per week. You know, 2 good quality videos. Consistency over home runs. We're not aiming for perfection, rather consistent performance to prove we can do this. Same thing with trading. This is more of a trading one. Same thing with content though. Not aiming for home runs. I'm not aiming for one video to blow up. I'm aiming for every single video to get better and better. Same thing with each trade. I'm aiming for each trade to get better and better each time we take a trade or each time we upload a video. And we're not aiming for one little trick pony, you know. We're aiming for consistency in our approach. Slow motion is better than no motion, and I'm in that video there. I'm in the video with that quote: slow motion is better than no motion, as Kai Cenat would once say. Slow motion is better than no motion, because once you get the ball rolling, it's very hard to stop.